Blog Talk Radio.
And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening to us across the entire globe. The doctors are in here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. I'm Dr. Dax Carlisle coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. I am the executive producer of Psychic Talk Radio, president of the Tarot Guild, now in our 16th year. Oh my gosh. And joining me, as always, on Friday, the fabulous Dr. Rose Wilkerson, all the way from Berkeley, California. Hey, Dr. Rose.
Hey, Dr. Dax. I can't even say your name right. I'm already messing up. Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
This is an interesting morning.
It is. It's just some strange stuff going on. I was just the show started and scared me because it I heard in my headset, your show's about to go live, and I'm like, because I was just looking for something in my files and I couldn't find it, and I'm like, where did that go? And it's like, oh, you're going live now. Oh, okay. Sure. We can do that. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Another Friday, and you know what that means, TGIF. That means, oh my God, the weekend's here. I'm excited.
That's right.
Are you excited?
Another week. I am. You know, it's interesting. The year's just going by. I mean, well, although actually January has felt like it has gone on forever. And part of that was that my mom, as you know, had gotten really sick, and she was in the hospital for about a week, and now she's at a rehab facility. She's doing better. But it's just been like long, drawn out. And I'm like, good Lord, it seems like a whole year went by since all this has been going on. So yeah, it's been interesting. I wish we had an astrologer on the show, because I swear there is something going on with people and health. It started off like after Thanksgiving, in December. I know people who have either lost folks, or there were people who have had serious health issues, and it's just I don't know what's going on. It's just this 2020 has started off with a real bang. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're getting the roughest part of the year out of the way early, So I'm just praying that the road is clear for the rest of the year. We'll have to go through something like this again. So we keep our fingers crossed over here.
Well, we just got into the new year, and now it's January 31st already. I mean, for me, it just blew by. And I'm like, what is going on? It's January 31st already? I mean, we haven't even gotten to talk about, New Year's resolutions that much and things like that. We just did do a show on that, and but I'm thinking of stuff like, I always do personal year numbers in the beginning of the year, and we have a show coming up on that. I think it's on the 7th of February, but we haven't even got to personal year numbers on the show yet. And today we have a topic that it's actually by request, because we did do the show about SMART goals and setting goals versus resolutions, and manifestation, the law of attraction, things like that came up, and I got contacted by some of the listeners, and they wanted me to go through the 4 steps of manifestation, and you and I, and also talk about the tarot cross of manifestation, which goes along with the 4 steps. So we're doing that today, but it's entirely by listener request, which I just love that.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, we are also a live call-in show, so if you have a burning question about tarot or numerology, Vedic meditation, mantras, EFT, hypnotherapy, neurolinguistics, psychic development, angels, numerology, I mean, you name it, we've got it all covered.
That's
so
right.
Whatever your burning question is, we would love some questions. You know, we don't get a lot of questions like that. Folks call in, they want a mini reading, which we also do. That's right. You can call in and get a free tarot mini reading live on air with us here. Ask anything you want, and we will try to answer it and pull some cards. And Dr. Rose here usually has some sage advice and a mantra or two, because she is the mantra maven. The mantra maven. Yeah.
Pretty much.
But my favorite, though, is when people call in, Rose, and they have, you know, a question about tarot or something like that. I just love that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Like I love talking about self-empowerment. I mean, we all have issues, and we all want to know where we are, you know, or where a particular situation is. But it's really great for us when we can share things that you can actually do for yourself, you know, and empower yourself. So, yeah.
Oh, and also just the big questions. You know, what does the tarot have to say about the meaning of life, or how the universe works, or, you know, any of the big questions? We're actually tackling one of the big questions today with manifestation, and what does tarot say about the law of attraction and manifestation? It actually says a lot. And we're going to get into that. Meanwhile, give us a call, 714-816-4628. We'd love to chat with you. Got a couple of callers in the queue, and we'll be going to them in just a few minutes. But let's give time here, Rose, for some more people to call in, get into the queue. You know, you can join us in the chat room, too, at thetarotguild.com is our main website, thetarotguild.com/chat. And you can join us right in the chat room there. You can ask questions in there. You can ask for a mini reading in there. You can chat about the show, chat about the topics, ask questions about the topics, whatever you'd like, right in the chat room with me and Dr. Rose at thetarotguild.com/chat. Or if you're just on the website, thetarotguild.com, just click chat. It's in the navigation bar on the right-hand side, top of any page. If you're on a handheld device, it's the two heads at the top of any page. Just click on that. And join us in the chat room. Got some folks calling in now. I wanted to also mention press 1 on your dial pad, because there's people calling in, Rose, that they don't have their hands raised. And the way you raise your hand is you press 1 on your dial pad. That'll put you into the queue and lets us know that you want to be live on air with us. Yeah. So give us a call, 714-816-4628. That's 714-816-4628. And we'll be going to calls in just a minute. Give people time to get in there. Press 1 on the dial pad. If you're Skyping in, remember you have to open the dial pad on your Skype app and press 1. That's how you do that. Awesome. So we actually did a show last year where we talked about this quite similarly. It was you and I and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Stephanie? Stephanie was on with us. It was fun. It really was. It was on a Friday. I think it was the 18th last year. And interestingly enough, I was looking at the numerology today, and so the date was the 18th of January last year. So 18 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. And then the whole date, January 18th, 2019, added up and reduced to a 4, which is structure. Well, today's date is the 31st, which is 4. The day, the 31st. And then the whole date adds up and reduces to 9. So it's the exact same numbers that we had last year on the day that we talked about this same topic. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, wow. Wow.
I love synchronicities like that.
Coincidental.
No, and it fits in with the topic so well because obviously 4, as I mentioned, is structure and numerology. It's also the 4 steps of manifestation, and the 9 is the completion of the cycle. A 9-day or a 9-month or a 9-year, especially a 9-year or 9-day. Those are the best times to clear things out. You know what I mean, Rose?
Right, I do.
Which is, it's not part of the 4 steps, but it is necessary, or at least helps a lot with manifestation, is to clear out and make room for the new to come in. Doesn't that make perfect sense?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. Also, I did pull the card of the day, and I just wanted to mention that because it also fits in with the 4 steps of manifestation. I actually got the 7 of Cups. So today is a day to dream of possibilities. Dream big. There's no need to be realistic or practical here. Just dream really big. Exercise your imagination. Imagine, Dr. Rose, if there was no limitation, no limits to stop you, no limitations to stop you, what would you want to manifest? And remember, every amazing thing you've ever created began as a dream. That anybody ever created, right?
Yeah. Well, I definitely be enjoying things like taking classes and things of that nature. So.
Yeah, you're like me. It's like, okay, if I make it to the beach, I'm still going to have I'm going to have my book. I'm going to be studying some topic, either
That's right.
taking a course on Udemy online, or reading a book, and I got my cup of coffee, I got my latte, whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of similar that way. I love that. Yep. So I thought the card of the day is just perfect for this. And if you want to follow along, you'll find it on our Facebook group, Tarot Guild. Today's show page, you can go to psychictalk.net/live. It'll take you to the show page. Scroll down, look for the banner for the show where it says the 4 steps of manifestation, and you see Rose's picture and my picture, and you'll see the cross right there. That way you can see the cross of manifestation and kind of follow along here. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this before we go to the phone lines because, as I said, we did this last year, and you can listen to last year's show as well. But it was requested, so we're going to cover that. I'm hoping the people that requested this are actually listening to the show. I know 2 or 3 of them, so I'm going to message them after the show. Did you listen? If not, go here, listen to the replay. Because you're the one that asked for this, right? Yeah.
Right.
So, the story of the cross actually goes way back. I was just starting to learn tarot, bought my first tarot deck, took it out of the wrapper, started looking at it, and 78 cards, and we've talked about this on the show before, how it all matched up to the sacred geometry I had been studying, numerology, the 5 platonic solids, so therefore the 5 elements. And I'm looking at the deck and the structure of the deck, and I'm like, well, this is all numerology and the elements. It's all sacred geometry, just embodied in a physical object. This deck of cards.
Right.
And one of the first things I did was go through every card of the deck, and I laid all the cards out. And because I was already a numbers guy, a sacred geometry guy, I grabbed all the cards that were card number 1 and all the cards that were that was number 2 and all the cards that were number 3, and I'm talking about had like a 3 on it, or a 4, what would that be, a 12, 1 plus 2 is 3, anything that reduced to the number or was the actual number, I piled them all together and went through the deck that way. And of course the first pile I went through was the ones, Dr. Rose, which is the Magician and the 4 aces, because the aces are 1 cards. And I noticed something right away. I noticed, wait a minute, the Magician card is depicting an individual with the suit representations of the elements are on the table in front of him. The swords and the cups and the wands and the pentacles or coins. And he's manifesting. He's literally lifting his wand up to the ethers, up to the space, the universe, and drawing down cosmic energy and pointing down at the ground and doing a spell. He's manifesting. And then I looked at the 4 aces and I said, oh, wait a minute. These are the 4 steps of manifestation. These are the 4 steps to the law of attraction. It just, it just was so obvious to me. What are your first thoughts on that, Dr. Rose? Are you there?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying that it makes absolute sense. Yeah.
Okay. And, yeah, I saw that. And then, because I'm into sacred geometry, I'm into geometric shapes and things like that. Right away, it made sense to me to lay this out in a cross. So I put the Magician in the center, the Ace of Swords above the Magician, the Ace of Cups to the left, the Ace of Wands to the right of the Magician, and below the Magician, the Ace of Pentacles. And by the way, breaking the deck up this way is how I ended up eventually developing Tarot by the Numbers, my course where I teach tarot using numerology, and vice versa. You're learning numerology through the tarot. So that's why it's called Tarot by the Numbers, because we break the deck up numerologically and go through it talking about the energy of that number and the cards that correspond. And from my point of view, it's the best way to learn tarot and numerology. So the tarot gives the numbers a visual reference for you, and the numerology explains the tarot. That, along with the 5 platonic solids, or the 5 elements, if you want to call it that. And so I noticed something else right away. I just intuitively laid out the aces that way, but it actually made perfect sense when I looked at it. You had the high, I did it, I think, subconsciously, but it was because of the weight of the elements. So air was the highest, and then fire and water, and then at the bottom, earth, the heaviest element. It just made sense to me. But I also noticed that if you were to take a line and draw the line across below the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Magician in the center, everything above that line is happening in your mind or inside of you, and below the line is what's happening outside in the real physical world. Does that make sense, Rose?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. And so 3 of the steps can be done actually within yourself. The thing is, though, if you miss any of these steps, it won't work. So you got the people that, they watched the movie The Secret, or read Burns' books on the law of attraction, or everybody else's book. Back then, everybody was coming out with a book, and all the people that were in the movie The Secret, and of course they were on 2006, they were on Oprah twice within 2 weeks. It was really big.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And people were having a lot of success, but there was a lot of other people that were like, "Oh, I tried that; it didn't work." And my comeback always is, "Okay, did you do all 4 steps?" What do you mean steps? I'm supposed to sit in my easy chair and think of the Maserati, and it appears in my driveway.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to it, and later versions, edited versions of the they have the theatrical release, and then they have the director's cut. Later versions of The Secret actually fleshed that out better than the original theatrical release of the film. That there's more to it than sitting in the easy chair in your house. Okay, so there are basically these 4 steps, and if you imagine a line going from the Ace of Swords down to the Ace of Cups, across through the Magician to the Ace of Wands, and then another line going down to the Ace of Pentacles, it forms a lightning bolt, just like you would find in Kabbalah, and the Tree of Life has the lightning bolt, and all these things from sacred geometry and from the Kabbalah, and it's like a pathway, and imagine lightning starting up there and coming down and then striking the ground. Now look at the Magician card. What's he doing? He's doing that lightning. He's drawing it down and grounding it. He's pointing at the ground.
Right.
Giving you clues about how you do this. Okay. So the very first thing is the Ace of Swords. Swords are thoughts and ideas. So you have to have the idea. You have to have the goal, as we talked about last week in the SMART goals. You have to have a very concrete, crystal clear idea of what it is you want to manifest. It can't be. What did we say? What did we say last week, Dr. Rose? Like it can't just be I want to make more money this year. Well, how much more money?
You have to
make
be
$20,000
specific
for this year. Exactly, right? And going along with that is what you're doing is you're creating the goal, but also remember we talked about the senses and getting a full 5-sensory immersive 360-degree visualization of this, not just what it looks like, but what it sounds like and smells like and tastes like and feels like. The whole thing where you're able to really imagine it as if you already have this, going to the future. It already exists. What's it going to be like when you have this?
Right.
And so that's step 1, getting crystal clear and being able to totally imagine it, and also immerse yourself in this kind of a 5-sensory visualization where you're able to get into the feeling space of already having manifested it, which kind of blends. And by the way, all these steps kind of blend together. You're going to see that in just a second. So that kind of blends into step 2, which is the emotions. So when you're getting into this feeling space of experiencing it with all 5 senses, and what it's going to be like when you have manifested this, what does that feel like?
Right.
What's the feelings? What's the emotions around it? And emotions is it's the lubricant and the fuel to the law of attraction. That's how I like to describe that. You've got to have the emotion. You've got to have the gas in the tank. So if you're using the vehicle car analogy, step one is setting the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Step two is making sure there's gas in the tank. Right.
Right.
Step three, you have this destination. You have fuel in the tank. Why? Why, Rose? Why are you going there? What's this trip about? Yeah, see, that's the fire element, the wands. That's the passion behind it. And it kind of, here's that blending again. So you have that blending between the step one with the setting the goal and having the visualization, which leads into a certain feeling or set of feelings around actually having this, which leads to step two, which is having the feelings and the fuel for the manifestation. And that kind of blends into the passion, because passion can be thought of as an emotion, but there's a slight difference between the two things, between the two steps, but they do blend together. In fact, those two steps are the two steps that blend together the most. And notice that they're on the same level in the cross with the magician. Exactly. Yeah. So you have to have the passion behind it. In other words, you could set a goal and even have emotion around it, but if you don't have any passion, think about it. Okay, I set the goal this year, Dr. Rose, I'm going to get married. I think it'd be nice to get married. Now, if you're listening to my voice there, is there any passion there?
No.
Do I have any reason? I haven't even talked about a particular individual that I'd like to marry, right? There's nothing there. There's no passion behind it.
Right.
That's another reason why trying to manifest money is so difficult. I don't want to say anything's impossible, but it's pretty close to being impossible. Money is just a representation, either electronic, digital, or physical, such as cash, gold, silver, diamonds, whatever.
Right.
It's just a representation of an energy exchange between two or more individuals. That's all that money is. So you can't, yes, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be excited, I'd be jumping up and down, I'd have emotion, maybe even passion.
Right.
But when you're going at it from the other direction, it'd be nice to have $1 million. Well, yeah, but how do you acquire emotion and passion around that? It's too nebulous. It's just like it would be nice to have a better paying job this year. Okay, well, yeah, but what kind of job? Doing what? And what's the motivation for it? And how much specifically? 10,000 more a year? 20,000? 30,000? 100,000? You have to be more specific in order to have the passion around it too.
Right.
And so that's why, people don't want the money, Rose. They want what the money buys.
Right.
Exactly. So
that makes sense. Yeah. It's something that the money in and of itself is not what's exciting. It's really what you can do with it.
So instead of putting things in terms of, I want $1 million, break that down into smaller goals. Okay, I want 100,000 of the million, or let's say, okay, I want a third of the million, $333,000, because I'm buying a house. Now you got something that you can create the 5 sensory visualization about. you can get emotion around it, and you can get passion around it. You see?
Yeah. I mean, you have to have that desire is what attracts. Those feelings are what attracts the, what it is that you desire to you, whether it's a car, a house, or whatnot. But you have to be specific. So it's like saying, I remember I was watching this video of the spiritual guru that I follow, and it was on goals. And he said, if you don't have a goal, you don't know what you're going to. If you can say, well, not just a goal, but if you don't know where you're going, it's like hopping in the car, turning on the navigator, but not telling it where you want to go. Like, well, I want to go to a beach. Okay, where would that be? Is that California? Is that Hawaii? What are we talking about here? Where in the world are you talking about?
And what you just said is perfect, Rose, because it leads into the very final step. Remember, everything else is happening inside us, and then that's above the line, and then below the line, under the magician, you have the final step, Earth. And that is taking action in the physical world. Everything else above the line is happening in the mind or the spiritual realm or in your physical body. It's only the last step that's happening outside. And the interesting thing about that is that unless you get specific and get away from something nebulous like a job or I want to win the lottery or I want $1 million, unless you get specific about what it is that's going to get you, you can't do step number 4, which step number 4 is taking action in the real world. So once we've narrowed it down and defined it, Rose, that okay, I want $1 million, but one of the reasons I want it is I want that $300,000 so I can go buy a house. Now you can take the step. You can actually go look at houses. You can actually get a real estate agent. You can research the market. You can research loans, ways of getting the money. There's so much you can now do in the physical world that you couldn't do before when it was nebulous. When it was just, I'd like $1 million. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So those are the 4 steps, and you have to have all 4 of them. Now, sure, 1 or 2 can be lesser fleshed out than the others, perhaps, but as long as you have something there, you're able to create the 4 steps, and at the very least, get you going. Get you going in that direction. So those are the 4 steps of manifestation. And this diagram that you see here on the banner for today's show, and by the way, like I said, you can find that on our Psychic Talk group for today's show. You can find it on our Twitter. You can find it on our Tarot Guild group. You can find
Dax, it sounds like you got cut off for a second.
Oh, I'm having trouble with my wire here. I think it's breaking down. I've had this headset for many eons now. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're back on now.
Okay, so I was saying, look for this image, and what I like about it is it helps you with visualizing the steps. And not only that, if you are a tarot person, like I am, you can use it as a spread as well. You can randomize the deck, and you can pull cards, 1 or 2 or 3 cards for each of the 4 steps to help you with, maybe you have like 2 or 3 of the steps down, but you're not sure about step number 3 or step number 4 or 2 or whatever. You can pull cards on that particular step. or you can pull cards for all four steps. Yeah. And the magician in the center, you can choose a card from the deck that represent what it is you're trying to manifest, or a better idea, what I like better, is to have, figure out that concrete thing and get a picture of it and put the picture in the center, and then pull randomized cards and lay them out in the cross around the picture, and the information from the cards will point you in the right direction for each of the four steps. So you can use it as a spread. You can use it as like a mandala, like a roadmap, a guide. Another thing you can do that we don't talk about a lot is it's basically tarot magic. You see, a spread, Rose, is when you, like in divination, you're asking a question of the tarot. You shuffle the deck. You randomly pull cards out for the different positions, if there's positions in your spread. You flip them over, and you see what you got, right?
Right.
There's another, besides the spread, there's another thing called a lay, and that's when you lay the cards out in a spread-like formation, but instead of randomized, you're going through the deck and you're pulling specific cards for specific positions, and you're doing some form of ritual with that, such as, you light a candle. Maybe you have, besides the candle, maybe you have the other three elements too, representations of the 4 or 5 elements, and you're laying out, and in this particular case with the cross of manifestation, you'd be laying out on purpose cards that represent each step of the manifestation process, and you're developing and creating a ritual. Now you've got something you can focus on all the time. So there you go. There's like 3 different ways you can use this cross of manifestation. What do you think, Rose?
Oh, wow, that's great. No, I think that's very useful, especially the tarot magic part. I'm always one for creativity, right? Yeah.
Well, I know you are really into ritual, and if you really think about it, whether it's ritual, ceremonial magic, which could be the high wizards kind of thing, or it could be Wicca or witchcraft type of ceremonial magic, or what we're talking about here. All of it is the same thing. All of ritual is really akin to manifestation, ultimately.
Right.
With a few exceptions. There's always exceptions to the rule. But in general, when you're doing magic or ceremonial magic or, any of these things, these types of rituals, you're manifesting. And that's how witchcraft and high magic works. You're going through the steps of the 4 steps of manifestation. That's what's actually going. Yeah. So all those of you out there in the audience that asked for that, I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, you can always contact me. Shoot me an email or contact me through Facebook. All my contact information is on my page at thetarotguild.com/Dax. That's thetarotguild.com/DAX. I'd be happy to chat with you, answer any questions you have. And now we can go to the phone lines. Before we go there real quick, I did want to mention some of the upcoming shows on the network, Rose.
Sure.
And then you can, you're going to handle the switchboard and bring people on, right?
That's right.
Awesome. So tomorrow we're already into February. It's February 1st, Saturday, and the first Saturday of every month is always the Mystical Musing Show with host Mary Brown. And she's going to be talking about how to use crystal grids. Talk about ritual. It's a continuation of today. It's, I just love sacred geometry, and I know they use a lot of it in crystal. I don't know anything about crystal grids, so I'm going to be listening in along with the rest of you. And you can call in for mini tarot readings as well. Sounds fascinating, doesn't it? I've seen some of the images, and the crystal grids look just amazing, Dr. Rose.
They certainly do.
And then on Monday, February 3rd, we have the Wisdom of the Soul show with Janice Fuchs, followed by Compassionate Light, Healing, and Guidance with Catherine Hahn. And she's going to be continuing her series of shows on living a purpose-filled life, which I just absolutely love. And I think that's perfect. If we could all get dialed into that in the beginning of the year, 2020 is going to be fantastic. What do you think, Rose?
Yeah, I totally agree. It gives that kind of drive and whatnot that we need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you can find all these at psychictalk.net/upcoming. Always has all our upcoming shows. You can peruse through it, mark the ones you want to listen to on your calendar. And we'll be back next Friday, February 7th. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Rose, we're doing What's Your Personal Year Number for 2020? On the Saturday show with Mary, we did the universal year or the world year number, which is 4, 2020. It's got that double 2 energy, which is actually the master builder number, 22, but it reduces to 4 structure. 2 plus 2 is 4, just like today's day, the 31st, is 4 structure.
Uh-huh.
And so we talked about that, and so the whole year, the whole planet is under that influence of that energy. But even more powerful than that is where you are in your personal year, 9-year cycle. We go through these 9-year cycles continuously until we die, And so it's helpful
right.
to know where you are in the cycle, and also that in relation to the world year number of 4. That helps tremendously as you begin the year and go through the year. So we're going to tell you how to calculate your personal year number, talk a little bit about the world year, and talk about personal year numbers next Friday. And then Mary and I will be back with our show, Tarot Today Radio. If you missed our 10-year anniversary show a couple weeks ago, we actually changed the name of our Psychic Saturday show to our very first ever show 10 years ago was Tarot Today Radio. And so Mary and I will be back for our first show together in February 8th, and we're talking about how to choose your first tarot deck. We get that question a lot, Rose.
Nice.
Yep. And then Sharona Rapsick will be on Sunday, February 9th with her show Magic Universe. And her special guest is Maria G. Moss. They're going to be talking about romance angels and love potions just in time for Valentine's. I think that's just awesome.
Ooh, love potion.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Love potion number 9. Oh, it's funny, too, because that actually came up, and I think Sharona said she actually has a love potion number 9. And by the way, the show falls on Sunday, February 9th. That was not planned. And I just love the synchronicities.
Wow.
It's like the universe winking at us. I just love it. So you got the switchboard. You want to take us to whoever's been waiting the longest there, Rose?
All right. So let's go to our first caller. Our first caller who's been holding the longest is calling from area code 828. Caller 828. Give us your name and let us know where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Danielle. I'm in Roanoke, Virginia.
Danielle from Roanoke. Welcome to the show. What can we do for you today?
Well, I'm in a relationship that I don't feel is right for me anymore. And a friend of mine is looking for a roommate, and I was wanting you to see how that would look for me if I moved with her.
Okay. Let's take a look at that.
She has her own vegan business. She has a disabled son that I would help with maybe like 10 hours a week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She's really doing a lot of great things for her life too.
Danielle, what month and day were you born?
June 13th.
Oh, wow, you're a Gemini like me. I'm the 16th.
Oh, nice. 16 and 6 is 22.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Which breaks down to 4. Yeah. A lot of 4s going on right now.
So I'm looking at your personal year number, which is what we're going to be talking about next year. It already is next year. Next week, we're actually going to be talking about this, and you're in a 5 personal year, so it's a 4-year worldwide, and it's all about structure, and that fits in perfectly with establishing new structure. Think of the 4 walls of a building. It's new homes, new businesses, anything like that. However, personally, you're a little ahead of the curve. You're actually in a 5-year. You're in a 5 personal year, and sometimes 5 is the chaos number. It's the chaos number in numerology. Now, typically, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I want to sign a contract for this big deal. I want to get married. I want to get pregnant. I want to move house," and they're in a personal year of 5, I usually would say, no. No. Wait till next year when it's a 6 year for you, because 6 is hearth and home. 6 is establishing home, and it's all about nurturing and things like that. It's that nurturing energy. That's when you make your move, especially new homes, new relationships. You can do that in a 1 year, because it's new everything in a 1 year. But 6 is really good as well. 5 is the 1 year where you don't want to do anything big. You don't want to sign a contract. You don't want to get married because, well, that's signing a contract. You just want to ride the crests, and the waves, and the ups and the downs, because it's like the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot. 5 is just up and down, up and down, up and down. And so the best thing that you can do in a 5-year is, enjoy yourself, read some good books, go to movies, go to spa days, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. You don't want to be starting new businesses. You don't want to be moving house and everything like that. Now, I said all that in an abundance of caution, because now I'm going to contradict all of that and say, yeah, but it's a 4-world year. You can probably get away with it. It's probably going to be okay if you move this year. Probably. Okay? Now let's look at this particular situation. That was all from just numerology.
Because my boyfriend my boyfriend has addictions, and he's been watching porn, and he got aggressive with me, and it's just not a good situation for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you definitely don't want to stay in that.
I remember your call from before, Danielle, because I talked to you before about this. And I'm glad that you're finding some possibility, with one of your girlfriends, for like a roommate situation. And let me tell you, it's really, really good. The very first card is the Ace of Cups. Emotionally stable, of course, any ace is the beginning of something new. this is the beginning of joy and better health and peace and all the things that you're not getting where you're living now. And then all the cards are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got 4 out of 5 yes cards, maybe actually 5. Technically, the ace is a 1, and I take odd numbered cards as a no, but because it's an ace, and that's a really positive card, I could actually take that as a yes as well. So 4 or 5 yeses out of 5, you can't get better than that. And the Fool card is the central focus, saying, take the leap. Just do it. So there you go. And you end up with the whole world, because the world card shows up. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be... Let me tell you one last thing, though. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be some things to do, because the Two of Pentacles shows up, suggesting that it might be a little bit of a balancing act on the financial end of things. And then the Two of Swords shows up, and that's a card of choices and, and people not wanting to make a choice, and they're blindfolded, and you really need to make the choice. So some choices are going to come up, some balancing act stuff, but you end up with the World card. I mean, you can't do better than that. So there you go, Danielle.
That's great.
I hope that
she
helps
has
you out.
a Capricorn. She has a lot of energy in she's got like 5 planets in Capricorn, and I have a 6th house Capricorn for my health. So this is going to be great.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty.
You're very welcome, Daniel. Thank you so much for calling in. Let's see. Let's
Enjoy the
go
rest
to
of
the
your
next
weekend.
person. Well, that's right.
Yeah, who's been waiting the longest?
Okay.
A little shuffle here.
Oh, my goodness. Did the board change? Oh, no. Here we go. I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is weird. There was Danielle. There's someone else, but the holding time is just recent. That's what's strange. Anyway, well, we're going to move forward. So caller with the area code 520.
Oh, my God. I was holding my breath last week. I was the longest and the first, and then you hung up on me because I didn't have my hand raised, and I was scared to put my hand up because you go right down to the bottom of the list when you put your hand up, and you didn't talk to me. I was like, yay, and then you said, no, wait a minute, she doesn't have her hand up, so then you clicked me, you hung up on me, or put me back in the queue.
Sorry about that.
And now I was like holding my breath. I thought, oh my God, is the queue changing? What's happening? So I'm in. Yay! Manifestation.
Oh, good. And so tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Lisa. And Dax, I wanted to ask you, I've lived in an area.
Lisa, one moment. Where are you calling from?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay. All right, thanks. Go ahead.
Dax, I've lived in Arizona in the area for 50 years. And I knew someone who has passed, and it's just occurring to me, and she was a big tarot reader, and she'd get on radio shows in Tucson, but she passed a few years back, 5 or 6. Her name was Rose Coleman. Did you know her?
No, I didn't know her.
Because you're reminding me of her. She just knew, she gave tarot classes in her home. I would take them in the early 90s. She was my spiritual teacher, I always said. But she passed. But things happen, I guess. And so manifestation, I was so excited to share with you. I had serious trauma going on in my home, divorce and my little kids, and that was in the middle 80s. And my therapist, and I eventually ended up, I was doing daycare and food catering within my home, and I became divorced almost overnight, and my therapist gave me a book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And within a year and a half, I was working for a corporation. I had 125 accounts. I was traveling. I had the company car, the expense account, the
wow.
It was all through Creative Visualization. That had just hit the bookstores, and my therapist is a strong New Age person that believes in all this, and it set me on the path. The problem is, and it's not really a problem, but I've learned, be prepared for what you get, because it was like I went to tell my therapist, I said, I landed this job. Well, I had a few jobs before then, and I was in school, in a trade school, and I graduated. But anyway, and when they handed me the job, or not handed me, I earned it, they flew me to a resort for a second interview. They told me that I was really going to go places, and they said, you know, we had all these applicants, we had teachers applying, and I was even 20 minutes late to the first interview, which I don't support that at all. I mean, I've learned, you know, it was through placing my child in daycare. But I got the job, and so then I got the job. Now what? Okay, so I had to work through the daycare issues. There was a lot of stuff. It was still life on this planet, and but I got what I was working on manifesting. So I know what you're saying. I just innately followed it. You know, I was it's like someone sits down at the playing poker the first time and they win. You know, and it's beginner's luck, they say. So I believe in you know, Jax, what you're talking about, the steps and the power. I just put it, you know, it was just something that I believed in and embraced, and certainly to this day. But sometimes, as I agree with you, when we say we want $1 million or whatever, it's what we want that can do for us. And so whenever I've journaled in the past 20 years, all my visioning board, most everything has become a reality. And
wonderful.
It's really what it is. It's really the, you know, what can be, you know, like if it's, you know, $1 trillion or whatever, which I never, it's what can that do? What is the you know, what does that bring? The abilities, how does that manifest? So I
what
am
is the inspiration for it? Yeah. Oh,
well,
that's great.
How does it translate into what would that bring? You know, what comfort would it bring?
Exactly.
Or what abilities would it put in one's life? So
right.
But is Dax still on the line?
Yes, he is.
Or did we lose him? Oh.
Yeah, I'm
well,
just listening to you. I'm waiting. I'm just listening, hon. I'm waiting for you to get to a question, and so I'm just letting you talk.
Oh, thank you. I was just about to pose the question. I'm having a lot of concern about my family situation. I have a 4-year-old grandson, and I have no control. He visits me, and then for a few days at a time, and then I have to return him to his mother, which she lives on the opposite end of the state. And so the concern is when he leaves my care and what happens, and then when he comes back, and then I have to deal with the fallout of what he's experiencing when he comes back, some of it. And, you know, I have a lot of professional support in the way of a family counselor, and I put him in a private school for his age group. And so he's supported here. But through the tarot, do you see, or, you know, the situation becoming a little easier for my grandson and his life over there with his mother?
Interesting. You know, I was just thinking about what you were saying about the vision board, and in the movie The Secret, you know, John Ashroff, his son pulls out one of his old vision boards, and he looks at the picture, and there's the picture of the house that he wants to manifest, and he realizes, oh shit, we're actually living in that actual house that I pulled that picture out of a magazine 10, 15 years ago, and he didn't even realize. he didn't even realize that he had actually manifested everything that he wanted to manifest. But it was a very, very concrete things, very specific things. And, of course, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to manifest the specific house like he did. But, at least it's very concrete versus, it'd be nice to have more money, or it'd be nice to have, something along those lines.
Absolutely. And that's what I did with that job in the way of being such a newbie at all of this. I was struggling. I'd come out of a trade school. I was taking all these little sales jobs, these little piddly-wink sales jobs, nothing against any of that, but I'm putting my kids in daycare. And then I read an article in the newspaper of a woman. I don't know what happened to her. I think something bad happened to her, but it was like in the middle 80s. But anyway, she had a company car. The newspaper was reporting I think she was pharmaceutical sales or something. And I thought, that's it. That's what I need. And so the creative visualization of Shakti Dwayne, I just followed it, and it all came about. And when you were talking last week about the steps and how to be concrete, my memory started going back and recalling some of my journals and how I would write, I want to live in this kind of a house with this kind of a fence and these kind of dogs. And I have those things.
Yep, it's pretty wonderful. But what's going on with the grandson is more of a cyclical thing, according to the tarot.
And
I
have no power.
Yeah, it's this is just cycles that kids go through anyway. Where things are going smooth and things are a little rocky. I got cards talking about rivalry and competition right next to a card about school and routine, and so there seems to be something going on there. One of the cards showing up is the Queen of Pentacles, which is all about nurturing. That's the mom card, So basically, the only thing that can be done is to adopt that attitude of just being the nurturer, not necessarily trying to control anything, but, just being available, being there, being the nurturer. That's what's showing up. Giving wise counsel, the Hermit card talks about giving wise counsel. And the Death card is talking about this cycle. It's actually the completion of a cycle, so that's kind of good news. So whatever he's been going through, it looks like it's coming to an end and a new, better cycle is starting.
Okay.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah,
but that's what's showing up.
Well,
and
Lisa, I would. She says the same thing that you just said.
One of the things I want to challenge you on is that, remember, you talked about reading the power of the subconscious mind. You actually do have power to create a better situation. So, just think about what it is that you want to see happen with your grandson and the situation at home. Because there are plenty of stories in the power of the subconscious mind where people, there's one particular example, and I think it was Joseph Murphy, who was doing a particular prayer for someone who was very ill. Like, I don't know if it was something like cancer or something quite serious. And he, actually wrote the prayer in the book and said, I did this, I don't know, at least 3 times a day, and the person got healed. So you do have power to make change. So I just invite you to reread Power of the Subconscious Mind. It's funny that you're bringing that up because I've actually been rereading the book myself. So I come back to it
the other thing that's
weeks,
really the other thing that's really coincidental about that was, we were talking about the power of the subconscious mind last week and talking about, people having certain blockages, and, you can go at it from the direction of removing the blockages. You can also go at it from the direction of implanting what you want to happen, or both, and you can do it through hypnosis. And then we were talking about that with our very first caller last week, Mary, and then she went ahead and booked a hypnosis session with me. Actually, a couple of sessions. We're going to have a session tomorrow, early afternoon. So, the power of the subconscious mind.
Okay, so I lost his father, who was my son, and I used to use the manifestation to try and protect him, and all through his childhood, and I lost him, 3.5 years ago. So I do not need to be challenged because I believe in all this. I'm on board with it. I've seen it manifest. When it comes to other human beings, and then when there are other human beings connected to those human beings, I don't know. But I do know that when I see my grandson, I'm constantly feeling protection and safety and calling on the powers, on the other side. I believe in all this. I embrace it. And but Dax, are you saying that with through hypnosis that you think that there is it can be developed to a higher level of feeling tangible results?
Well, yes, and actually just all the above. I mean, it works. And when I say hypnosis, I'm throwing everything in together because I do hypnosis, NLP, EFT, time techniques, life coaching. I just put it all under one umbrella name. But that helps with, virtually any issue. But then also when we're talking about, when you're talking about the spiritual end of things, getting for a tarot reader, getting a better connection with the cards. For somebody wanting to manifest, getting in the right mindset, eliminating baggage and blockage, getting focused on the outcome. Hypnosis helps with all of that. And what really blows my mind, Dr. Rose, I think I've talked to you about this before on the show. What really blows my mind is that why is nobody doing this? You've got all these people out there talking about, becoming a medium, reading tarot cards, numerology, the law of attraction, how to manifest, all these things. But they've got these fantastic tools like neurolinguistics and hypnosis and emotional freedom techniques to help them in that journey, and they don't use it. And the people, the powers that be that teach these topics, don't even suggest it to anybody except me, because I do. Because I'm a hypnotherapist. But I.
Oh, Dax, I think your mic cut off. Dax, are you there? Oh boy!
Hello,
wow,
I'm
this
here.
is interesting.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Hello?
There you go. All right, we can hear you.
Okay,
now.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I'm having
That's
technical problems today. Okay. Where did it cut off at?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to go
back. That you don't know why people are not using the tools.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so you heard that. And what I was saying was I challenge you to go out and find somebody that teaches tarot or teaches spirituality or teaches the law of attraction or mediumship or anything. And they're in their course they teach you these techniques, or at the very least in their trainings they're telling you, hey, go find a hypnotherapist, they can help you with this. It's insanity that we don't do that automatically. I mean, this stuff should be taught in elementary school. Every single college student can use hypnosis. They can jump their grades 20 points easily. The retention of the information, test taking, everything can be improved. your reading speed, everything could be improved with hypnosis and other techniques. So yeah, that's what I was saying about that. It's just because it came up last week with our first caller last week was Mary, and she's going down that path now. She's getting these things cleared out. We're doing sessions over Skype, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
The subconscious mind actually really is self-hypnosis. That's what you're doing. It's the same thing. Yeah. And then Joseph Murphy talked about how that influences other people as well. And unfortunately, I mean, I know this is a hard thing to accept, and I'm not devaluing any kind of pain and suffering that comes from this, but in terms of someone who passes away, the one thing that you can be sure of is that we all will pass away at some moment. And, it was probably just I don't know if you said that you said you lost your son, so I'm assuming that he passed away, that, it was his time to go, unfortunately.
Well, it's death and taxes, definitely.
Right. So that's because I've heard people who have used, whether it's the law of attraction or hypnosis or whatnot, to try to save a loved one or something like that, and the person still passes away. There's not a whole lot you can do about that, and I'm sorry for your loss.
I wasn't inferring
that, No, but what I'm saying is that it's the law of, the power of the subconscious mind is also hypnosis. So, I'm in total agreement with what you were saying, Dax. I mean, it
and
really
by the way,
can,
when you're reading books,
make.
Oh, what I was going to say is when you're reading books or anything along those lines, and you're focusing your attention, that's what hypnosis is. So when you're reading, like the book you mentioned, what was it again, Rose? The
Power of the Subconscious Mind. Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Yeah. You're actually doing hypnosis. You're doing self-hypnosis by reading the book and getting into reading about the power of the subconscious. You're already doing it by reading it. It's amazing. It's amazing. You don't you can go online and you can find a hypnosis script for virtually everything, and you can just download a script and just read it out loud to yourself, or even in your head, but even better is you read it out loud, and you can do self-hypnosis that way. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Your cell phone, the cell phone nowadays can record audio, so you can even make it an audio. Read it on the audio and then play it back.
And then play it back to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just if the script, hopefully the script has an induction and a deepener and wakes you up at the end. But if it doesn't, you can add all those elements. You can download the script that you want, download a script for an induction, a deepener, and for coming back out, and just record in your own voice. And by the way, your own voice is the best to have on a hypnosis recording rather than somebody else. It's actually better when it's your own voice.
Because you're going to believe it, right? Because it's your own voice.
It goes right into your subconscious. Exactly. Yeah, we got to get going here. Well, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, Lisa, thank you so much for your call, and we hope that what we said to you has helped you in some way. So have a really wonderful week.
Dax, I'm going to get in touch with you. I'm on the website.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. So now, let's do one more caller before we end the show, and I'm trying to see who has been on the longest.
It's actually that Skype call. A couple other calls popped in on top, but that's actually the one that's been waiting the longest.
Okay, if you're calling from Skype, we don't have the area code for you, but your mic is on. Say hi. Let us know what you. Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, Lisa, Colorado, and interesting show. Learned something about the numbers on the deck. Wow. Okay, so I thank you. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, it's just like anybody, wants to have a partner or some type of romance or friendship, which I feel good about it. I haven't been one for many years. And, gentlemen, why I want to see if you see him truly and consistently liking me, like he truly does like me. And I don't want to perceive he does not truly like me.
Mhm. So you're trying to find out whether or not he's attracted to you or he likes you?
Yeah, he truly likes me.
Okay. So what does the Magical Tarot say?
We have talked already. Yes.
Typically we don't answer this kind of question this way, and the reason why is because what's going on is this is one of those situations, and it's in our you can go on thetarotguild.com and read our code of ethics, and part of professional code of ethics is you don't read for a person that's not there. So I can't tell you how that person is feeling because they are a third party. I'd have to get their permission, and it kind of doesn't make any useful sense to do that. We could just ask the guy, "Hey, do you like her?" Hello. Okay. So
I've done that. You're right about that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll read it and I'll ask another way.
It's like we don't need the tarot deck for this. Okay, we don't need the tarot deck Now we can change the context of the question and ask a better question, and overall about this relationship coming from what you need to know about the relationship versus what anybody else is doing or thinking. We can see what comes up. And let me tell you, everything is fantastic. I mean, you've got the central focus card is the Two of Cups. Except for the Lover's card, you can't get a better card in tarot for a relationship starting up. You got that Two of Cups. You got the Sun card next to that, which is like the penultimate. Except for the World card, I would say, the World card and the Sun card are the penultimate cards out of all 78 cards. And then you've got cards of celebration like the Four of Wands, which often shows up when there's going to be a celebration, a party, a birthday party, a bar mitzvah, or a wedding reception. Just throw that out there. Yeah. So this is looking really, really good.
That's pretty good. You're right about that. How you word it is important. Thank you for information for that.
Yeah. Now the only thing that might be a fly in the ointment, because the tarot always gives us a little something that we need to know, and one thing is that the Two of Pentacles shows up, like I got for a previous caller, which is a card about, it's a card of imminent change, but it's also about balance and flexibility. And because it's pentacles, or sometimes they call these cards coin cards, it's talking about the earth element, material aspects. So there might be some juggling of the material in this relationship as it develops that you might want to watch out for. And another card that shows up is the Nine of Pentacles. And I call that the self-made woman card. And so it's talking about you got to maintain your independence, especially material independence, especially because it's right next to this Two of Pentacles card talking about, possible issues around money or balancing everything. And so, so it's giving you a little bit to look out for, but all the rest of the cards, Four of Wands, all that passion and energy there, the Sun card, the Two of Cups, you can't get better cards. You can't get better cards than that. So it looks really good for you. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
So, Lisa, now you can go and walk up to him and say, "Hey, do you like me?" It's looking good, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, good luck with that, Lisa. And, call us back and let us know what happened. Go up and say hi to the guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, Dax. So
Bye,
are we
Lisa.
ready? I don't think we have any other hands that are up on the board.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there was some people, but they dropped off. I guess they figured out that we're way past the top of the hour when the show is supposed to end. We were joking about that last week when we had the SMART goals, and I said, hey, our SMART goal is we got to end the show on time. And
right.
it's
of which we did not.
Yeah, it's still not happening. We might get to our goal later on. I did want to throw out there, if anybody's still listening, I wanted to throw out there the same thing that I offered last week, that only for listeners to this show. I'm not going to promote this or anything like that. I'm going to still do like what I did for Mary. Mary booked a session with me. I'm doing, I said last week I would do the first 5 clients at $97, and then after that $197 for a session, which, by the way, it's still half price. It's still half price. I normally charge $397, but I'm going to do it for $97 for the next 4 clients, because Mary was client number 1, and I said I'd do 5, so I got 4 more spots open at $97.
Oh.
And yep. So that's 1/4 of my regular going rate, and after that, I'm going to do a 50% sale for the next 5 after that, and that's what I'm doing at the beginning of the year here to give everybody a little leg up. If you want to work on a phobia or a fear, you want to quit smoking, weight management, pain management, PTSD, stress, or just clearing out blockages and clearing out things, past traumas, things like that. Like why Mary originally contacted me, because she wanted to clear some stuff out, get it out of the way of her manifesting. Yeah. So just contact me. You can go to my page at thetarotguild.com/Dax, and my Facebook is on there. You can message me on Facebook. That's the fastest, Dax Carlisle, or send me an email. And you can also call me, too. Yeah. I have a phone number, too. I love my phone number. It's 352-QUIT.
Cool.
I love it. So we're in Arizona here. It's area code 520-352-QUIT. There you go. All righty. So another fantastic show. I can't wait for next week. I love talking about personal year numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Awesome sauce. So thanks, everybody, for listening, and thanks for being here, Rose, and all of our listeners and callers.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all of our callers for calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.